Hey there, ready for some stories that will warm you from the inside out? Today we're looking at 10 acts of kindness from all over the world. You know, the kind of things that remind you that people are good.
Yeah, it's interesting how these stories, even though they're so different, they all kind of touch on something that we all have, that instinct to connect with each other and care for each other.
Okay, so I have to tease you with a couple of them before we start the countdown.
Okay.
So imagine a really busy train station in Sydney, and suddenly everyone's singing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like commuters just spontaneously form a choir.
That's awesome.
And then there's this teenager in Brazil who started a virtual hike movement that's gone global.
Seriously.
Yeah, talk about heartwarming.
What gets me is that each story, whether it's something really big or just a small act of generosity, highlights the ripple effect of kindness. You know what I mean? Like even tiny little things can make a big difference, not just for the person who receives it, but also for the people who see it.
Right, totally.
They get inspired to do something themselves.
Okay, so let's start this kindness train.
All right.
Coming in at number 10 is Maria, a teacher in Spain. She went so far above and beyond for her students and their families.
What's so cool about Maria's story is that she noticed something outside of, her normal teacher role.
Right.
She saw that a lot of the families in the community were struggling, so she made her classroom a place where they could get support. Like after school, she would offer food and other resources.
Yeah, it makes you think that sometimes the biggest acts of kindness come from seeing a need that isn't being met and then doing something about it, even if it's not the usual way of doing things. Imagine how strong the community in that classroom must have been, going beyond just the students to include their whole families, too.
Absolutely, yeah. And it shows how education can be a force for good, not just inside the classroom, but in the whole community.
Totally. Okay, for number 9, let's jump over to Tokyo. This one went viral. A man saw this older woman who was having a hard time with her shopping bags and offered to help her. It's a simple thing, but in a huge city like Tokyo, it really stands out.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that you don't have to do something extravagant to be kind. Sometimes it's just those little everyday things, those moments of connection that can make a real difference. What I liked was the detail about how they were talking as they walked together. It wasn't just carrying bags. It was about taking the time to see someone struggling and just be there with them for a bit.
Right, exactly. Speaking of connection, number 8 takes us to Michigan, where someone saw a dog stuck in a drain.
Oh, no.
And guess what? It wasn't just one person who stopped to help.
Really?
Yeah, whole bunch of people came together to rescue the dog.
Aw, that's amazing how quickly compassion can bring a community together. Makes you think about those times when we see something that needs action. Do we step up or do we just walk away? This story shows how powerful it can be when people work together. And also, it shows the strong bond between people and animals.
Definitely. Can you imagine the dog's owner when they were reunited? So happy. Okay, get ready for number 7 because it involves music.
Awesome.
Picture a crowded train station in Sydney, and then suddenly people start singing. They turn their commute into an impromptu choir performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's so magical about that story is how music just cut through the regular routine. It's like a reminder that we can find joy and connection in the most unexpected places.
Totally.
Makes you wonder, what if we all just lived life with a little more spontaneity, like being willing to share what we're good at, even in small ways?
Yeah, I love that. I bet it made everyone's day who was there, whether they sang along or just stood there smiling. All right, it's time to head to Nairobi, Kenya for number 6.
Okay.
This one is about a cafe owner who decided to pay for everyone's coffee for a whole hour.
What? Seriously.
Yeah,
What's interesting about this one is the ripple effect, It wasn't just about the free coffee, it was about how that generosity can spread.
right.
Like, it makes you think, what if we all tried to pay it forward in our own little ways? What kind of chain reaction could we create?
I can only imagine the vibe in that cafe. People walk in expecting to buy their coffee, and they find out it's already taken care of. What a great way to start your day, and it probably inspired some of them to do something nice for someone else.
It definitely challenges us to, reconsider the things we usually think are small and unimportant. Maybe just buying someone a coffee or holding a door open or giving a genuine compliment is all it takes to get a whole bunch of good stuff happening.
So we've seen a teacher going the extra mile in Spain, a small act of kindness spreading warmth in Japan, a whole community saving a dog in Michigan, music changing a commute in Australia, and a cafe owner starting a chain of generosity in Kenya. 5 down, 5 more heartwarming stories to go.
And what's amazing is we're just getting started. These stories are just a tiny peek into all the kindness that's happening every day, everywhere in the world.
We'll be back soon with the top 5 acts of kindness in our countdown, so don't go anywhere.
All right, welcome back. We're diving into the top 5 of our kindness countdown, and these stories are really special.
I'm ready for more heartwarming stuff. Last time we were feeling all warm and fuzzy after that Kenyan cafe owner's generosity. So where are we headed for number 5?
Okay, so for this one, we're going to Portland, Oregon, where a group of volunteers decided to tackle a problem in their own community: homelessness. They took an old building that wasn't being used and, get this, turned it into a homeless shelter, like overnight.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about taking action. It must have taken a lot of work to pull that off. What stood out to you about this story?
What's inspiring is that it wasn't just about giving people a place to sleep. One of the volunteers, Sam, said every person deserves a place to call home, even if it's just for one night. They created a place that was warm and dignified, a place where people could feel safe and supported.
That's a powerful reminder that even acts of kindness that are temporary can have a lasting effect. It's about seeing everyone as valuable, no matter their situation.
Exactly. And, sometimes the most important acts of kindness are those that address a need right in our own backyard. It's about looking around and asking, what can I do to help right here, right now?
Right. Okay, for number 4, let's go to Mumbai, India, for a story about the connection between a teacher and her students.
Okay.
This one is really touching. The students found out that their teacher, Priya, had to walk for miles every day to get to school. So to show how much they appreciated her, they all chipped in and bought her a brand new bicycle.
Wow.
So thoughtful. It says so much about the impact that teachers have on their students. Can you imagine Priya's reaction?
Oh, it was priceless. She said, I've never felt so loved, and she was crying tears of joy. It reminds us that kindness can go both ways, from teachers to students and students to teachers.
It shows how strong those connections of a classroom can be, the mutual respect and love that can grow when people learn together.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that the best gifts aren't always things you can buy, but actions that show care and appreciation.
Okay, get ready for a different kind of story with number 3. This one's about a virtual act of kindness that started in Brazil and went all over the world. Tell me more.
This one is all about the power of connecting with people online. A teenager named Anna realized that so many people are lonely, especially these days. So she started a virtual hug campaign.
A virtual hug campaign. I love that. How does that even work?
People share virtual hugs through social media, pictures, videos, even just messages from the heart. It's a simple way to show support and remind someone that they're not alone.
It's amazing how technology can be used to build community and spread positivity. Did this campaign actually have a real impact?
It really did. Anna said a hug can be felt even through a scream, and the response to her campaign totally proves that. It helped people feel less lonely and created this global network of support. It really shows how human connection can go beyond physical distance.
I'm getting all warm and fizzy just thinking about it. Okay, what's up next for number 2?
Okay, this one takes us to London, where a florist named Ben decided to spread joy in a unique way. He gave away 10,000 flowers to random people.
10,000 flowers? That's a lot of flowers. What was his reason for doing something so big?
He wanted to promote the idea of Petal It Forward. It's about doing random acts of kindness, like giving a flower to a stranger to brighten their day.
Oh, that's so nice. Flowers have this special way of lifting spirits and making people smile. Did Ben's flower giveaway have a ripple effect?
It totally did. Those 10,000 flowers brought smiles to faces all over London, but Ben's idea also inspired others to start similar Petal It Forward projects. It's amazing how one person's kindness can start a chain reaction of good vibes.
Okay, drum roll, please. We've reached a lot of one act of kindness on our countdown. What's the most inspiring story we've got?
All right, this one is truly amazing. We're going to Johannesburg, South Africa, where a young man named Taibo made a decision that changed someone's life. He saw a message on social media from someone who desperately needed a kidney donor.
Oh, wow, that's serious. What did Taibo do?
He got tested, and it turned out he was a match. Without even thinking twice, Taibo decided to donate his kidney to this complete stranger and saved their life.
That is unbelievably selfless. Talk about a truly life-changing act of kindness.
It is, and what's even more incredible is the impact it had. Taibo's story started a national conversation about organ donation and led to way more people signing up to the donors. His one act of incredible generosity literally inspired so many others to consider giving the gift of life.
Wow, that's so powerful. It shows that even when things are tough, one person's compassion can have a huge impact on so many lives.
It does. When they asked Taibo about his decision, he said, I couldn't live knowing I could save someone and didn't. That really makes you think about how much we can all do to make a difference in the world.
So we've seen generosity in Portland, heartwarming connection in Mumbai, virtual hugs spreading across the world, flowers brightening up London, and a life-saving act of selflessness in South Africa. These top 5 stories have shown us that kindness can take so many forms, from big gestures to everyday actions.
And what's really striking is that each story shows the power of human connection, whether it's between a teacher and her students, a stranger helping out, or someone donating an organ to save a life. These acts of kindness are all rooted in our shared humanity and our capacity for empathy and compassion.
Speaking of spreading kindness, let's talk about this trending hashtag kindness counts movement. What's that all about? So it seems like everywhere you turn these days, people are talking about being kind. Is it just a trend or is there something more to it?
I think it shows that more and more people are realizing that kindness is more than just a nice feeling. It's really important for a healthy society.
So it's not just about random acts of kindness here and there, but about actually building a culture of compassion.
Exactly. And the hashtag kindness counts movement is a great example of how that's happening. It's all about making those everyday acts of kindness more powerful, both online and in real life.
Yeah, I've seen that hashtag everywhere. How does it actually work?
It's pretty simple. People share pictures or videos of themselves doing something kind, big or small, using the hashtag kindness counts. It's a way to encourage other people and spread positivity.
So it's like a big online collection of kindness, showing all the good stuff happening all over the world.
Right, and it's not just about sharing what you're doing, it's also about connecting with other people who are spreading kindness, leaving nice comments, and helping them get their message out. It's about building a community around the idea that kindness matters.
And speaking of community, we got a really sweet message from one of our listeners, Lucas from Brazil. He wanted to share his own act of kindness.
Oh, yeah, Lucas told us about helping his elderly neighbor with her groceries, carrying them up to her apartment.
It's such a simple thing, but I bet it meant so much to her.
It's a perfect example of how everyday acts of kindness can make a real difference. It's not about waiting for some big opportunity to be kind. It's about making kindness part of our everyday lives and how we treat each other.
Lucas, thanks for sharing your story. It's a great reminder that we can all practice kindness, no matter who we are or where we live. And it seems like our listeners are really connecting with these stories of human connection. We've been getting so many positive comments on social media about this episode.
It's heartwarming to see, isn't it? It shows that deep down we all want connection, compassion, and kindness. These stories remind us that even when the world feels divided, there's still so much good happening out there.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this journey through 10 inspiring acts of kindness, what's the most important thing we want our listeners to remember?
Every act of kindness matters, no matter how small. Whether it's helping someone you don't know, being a good listener to a friend, or just smiling at someone who looks sad, we all have the power to make the world a better place.
And like we've seen in these stories, kindness spreads. It inspires others to do the same, creating a chain of positivity that can touch so many lives.
It's like planting a seed. It grows and spreads, creating something beautiful and lasting.
As we say goodbye today, we want to leave you with something to think about. What act of kindness will you choose today?
Take a moment to think about that. And remember, even the smallest things can make a difference.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of humanity. We hope these stories have inspired you to spread a little kindness in your own little corner of the world.
Remember, kindness is a superpower we all have. Let's use it to make the world a brighter, more compassionate place.
And if you're feeling inspired, share your own acts of kindness using the hashtag kindnesscounts. We'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep those hearts kind and those connections strong.